Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I know, yet again, it's been a while, but hopefully this time it's worth the wait, because as you can see to my right, I have this, the new FL5 Honda Civic Type R. I can't quite believe I'm saying them words. Mainly because I didn't think Honda could beat themselves when they made the FK8. And I remember when I had the FK8, the end of the video, I said, how are Honda actually going to beat themselves? And over the next coming videos, because this is a walk around, I'm going to hopefully find out if it is as good as the FK8, or if not, even better, which I can't quite believe. But anyway, today is a walk around, and this car isn't a complete change, it's more of an optimization over its predecessor. And there is so much to talk about. I've actually got this rather unprofessional looking piece of paper here, which has got a lot of things that I've scribbled on, because I know I'm all right as a journalist. I'm not going to say I am, but I need to get things right, because I know you guys in the comments are going to slam me if I get anything wrong. So I'm going to pick the camera up and I'm going to take you around the entire car. But before we do, what do you think of the looks? Now, the FK8 got a barrage of hate for the way it looked. Some would say it went sideways through Halfords, and others would say maybe 10, 12-year-old kids got the drawing board and decided to go ham on the paper. But I have to say, I love it. The looks of this thing are just proportioned so well. And the fact that I've got this car in Racing Blue Pearl, which is a £650 optional extra colour, I have to say it's probably the best colour you can have in this car. It doesn't hide its arches and stuff like you would with a black colour, and yeah, that Sonic Grey Pearl colour, which is as standard, the only standard colour you can get on this car, yeah, just looks a little bit too solid for it. So I think the blue really does bring out all the angles and all the aggressiveness of this car. Now, in true Honda fashion, everything on this car is functional, and to give it away, they've actually painted everything in black. So everything that you see here on the front, the hood, all the intakes into the radiator intercooler are all functional for downforce and provide less negative lift and all that stuff. And I have to say, oh, I am amazed. I am amazed by it. But anyway, I'm going to get the camera off the tripod and we'll go into a little bit more detail of everything about this car. There's lots of facts and figures and I love it, although I can't remember most of it.
Thanks to my pals at Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. See my exclusive deal by clicking the link in the description below. Get yourself award-winning VPN protection now.
Right, so this generation of the Civic is the 11th, believe it or not, and it's over 50 years old. The history of the Civic is legendary, although Honda have covered that by naming a car Honda Legend. So we'll actually call this iconic, but it's actually 25 years of the Type R badge on Civics, and yeah, by just looking at it, it's definitely living up to its reputation, I have to say. The engine, we'll talk about the engine first. We'll get onto, I'm overwhelmed by this car, it's crazy. But yeah, the engine. So it still uses the same engine from the FK8, although there is an increase, only small, by 10 horsepower or so. And the Newton meters, again, is a 20 Newton meter increase. Now, I haven't driven an FK8 in a while, but getting behind the wheel of this just to get to this location, it really does feel more peppy. Again, I know manufacturer will linear the torque all the way through. So although 20 Newton meters doesn't sound like much, if you take a dyno graph and you plot it across the whole rev range, there will be an increase all the way through, and you can definitely feel that. 0 to 60, the FK8 did it in 5.7 seconds, whereas Honda say this will do it in 5.4. Now, it's a front wheel drive car, and although it provides exceptional grip no matter what, even in damp conditions like it is today, launching a front wheel drive car, does it really give you anything? No, I don't think so. So, although 5.4 does seem pretty good, if you compare it to rivals like Golf Rs and stuff, they're probably doing it in probably 4s, which is crazy to think that. Price, all right. Now this is where we get on to an interesting topic, because I have the spec sheet in front of me, although this is out of date, and this is from Honda UK themselves. So this car, on this exact car, was priced at £47,645, of course with the optional paint, which is £650. Now I did a little digging around last night, very last minute of course, to see what the prices are like now. And in fact, it's an increase of £2,000. Yes, so now if you were to go on the configurator, which apparently you can't get these cars anymore, they're pretty much all sold out, apparently, I don't know that for certain. It's now £49,740. So it's almost a 50 grand car. And considering that these are literally almost sold out, I've looked on classifieds and people are trying to sell these for 60 plus grand, which is madness. So if you compare that to an FK8, that's around a 14 grand difference. Now, when I do the driving video, I'll probably cover that a little bit more to say, is it actually worth the 14 grand difference? Now, of course, that's mostly because of inflation and the way the market is at the minute, but that is a big price increase for a car that, okay, has lots of differences. In terms of engineering, it isn't actually miles apart from the FK8, especially on paper. But anyway, let's go on to talking about some of the little details that you wouldn't know unless you were told. Right, now I need to find in my paperwork where it is. Right, here we go, I've got a bit here. So Honda say that this has a 35mm longer wheelbase compared to the Type R. So obviously you get a wider track, means in theory on a circuit you're going to handle much better. Of course, if we come to the wheels, now on the previous FK8 the wheels were 20 inches, and I had a bone to pick with Honda because I just thought they were too big, especially with a low profile tyre on it. Now Honda have actually listened to a lot of people and they've gone for a 19 inch. Main reason is it's lighter, obviously a lot less unsprung weight, which means it's better for handling. And of course, tyres will be cheaper too. There was also a big problem with the 20 inches, where if you hit potholes, especially in the UK, even more so now, potholes are everywhere. So as soon as you hit one with a 20 inch, you'd crack the wheel. And you can look up, a lot of tuners are actually offering aftermarket wheels, not only smaller, but stronger than the FK8 previous wheels. So yeah, very nice as well. They've taken design evolution from the FK8 limited edition, and they've taken lots of properties from that and put it into play here. If we come to the side of the car, as I said earlier, Honda have highlighted in gloss black the functional aero bits that they've done to the car. Now, one thing that isn't in black is the wider wheel arches. Now, if you remember on the FK8, they used to be like stuck on pretty much, and they didn't look great. And what Honda have done now is they've had this in a wind tunnel and they've done CFD to try and get as less resistance of air across the side of the car. Now, actually, I've missed this. You get a functional air scoop, which allows all the air trapped in the wheel arch to come through and follow it down to the side of the car, and then follows with the side skirt that allows air to scoop up, come across the arch, and then onto the rear wing. And I have to say, I really do like the fact that they've implemented wider arches. Not only does it clean up the car, it just makes it more aggressive. Now, I will say that all the pictures I've seen of this car, I've not been too fond of the front especially, but now seeing it in person, it really does set off the car nice. It looks really menacing. I love it, really do. Now, we'll get onto the back of the car. Of course, we have this wing. Now, a lot of people have said that they don't like it. They think that this wing looks like an afterthought in comparison to the FK8. I think otherwise. I really do like it. You've got these aluminium supports here, again, to save weight. The boot lid is actually a composite boot lid, again, to save weight. Along with the front, the bonnet is actually aluminium like the FK8 was. Now, of course, you get the obligatory red Honda badge. You have to have that on a Type R, especially a Civic Type R, along with the Type R badge itself. Now, again, everything highlighted in black is functional. Of course, you've got this big rear spoiler, which helps with negative lift, along with this rear spoiler as we spoke about earlier. Now, it actually looks smaller in person compared to the FK8, because obviously the FK8 was quite dramatic and yeah, it was in your face, very flary. Whereas this is a little bit more simple, but it's actually bigger than the FK8, believe it or not. And I do like it. And what I do find is on the FK8, the wing used to be about here, so you could never see out of the rear view mirror, whereas now you can a lot better. I do like that. Now, another decisive topic was the exhaust. Now, it's out there, but it's very different compared to many other cars on the market. Usually you get exhaust here, or 2 exhausts there, or on the other side, whereas Honda managed to do a 3 exhaust tip option. There's lots of engineering behind it. I'm not going to try to explain it to you. It's pretty much the exact same philosophy as the FK8, although it is now small, big, small, whereas the FK8 was big, small, big. And personally, I prefer just equal size all the way across, and there's lots of aftermarket exhaust options already out there. Now, the exhaust system is actually designed differently to the FK8. It's more straighter. It allows, obviously, the power increase to be obviously put onto this car, which it has. But with a straight exhaust, you get a lot less back pressure, and Honda have managed to achieve that. Bit more of a boring subject. This is a hatchback. Of course, it is a hot hatchback, but we've got to talk about the boot. Now, the boot, believe it or not, is actually smaller than the FK8. Not by miles, it's only 10 litres difference. This is 410 litres, whereas the FK8 was 420. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't even notice that difference because they look exactly the same. Of course, you get this lovely little protective boot cover that has Type R, of course, in it. But yeah, this is what I love about the platform of this Civic, is that because of the style it is like a saloon type car, you do get lots of practicality. But yeah, what do you guys think of the exterior of this lovely new Type R? I love it. I really do. And I actually wasn't too keen on it when Honda first announced it, because although the FK8 was very garish to loads of people, I actually quite liked it. I think it suited the car very well, considering that most of the cars on the market, especially in this segment, hot hatches, they're quite subtle, quite, how can I say, reserved. Whereas the FK8 threw everything out the window and they just went mad with it. Probably too mad, but it's a good thing that a manufacturer is still doing that. And of course, yes, this FL5 has broadened its horizon, and obviously it's going to be a lot more desirable to a lot more people. But yeah, that price, yes, a difficult one to swallow. But anyway, what should we do now? We'll go inside, we'll jump inside. So let's cut to inside the car. Right, we are greeted with lots of red, the traditional Honda Type R colour red, and I have to say, it is glorious in here. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're now into the 6th generation of the Type R, the Civic Type R. And every time there's an evolution, not only to the exterior, but to the interior. And sitting in this, oh, I might as well just stay here now. That's it, end of the video, goodbye. Because it is generally a lovely place to be. And it's even better because of that big extortionate price point. It just sells itself in here more as a more of a luxurious car, and it's quite crazy to think that it's like this in here. Now, of course, this shares a lot of the design philosophy from the standard Civic, of course, the plug-in Civic that you can get on the market now. And obviously you've just got the sprinkles of Type R inside here. Now, of course, the steering wheel, it's not overly big. It's, I think, a perfect size for your hand, of course, all finished in Alcantara. And you've got the red accents around here, of course, again, the nice big red Honda badge. Yes, we love it. Of course, these seats, I'll put in some B-roll of the seats. Now, the FK8 seats were absolutely fabulous. Like, honestly, they're the best seats I've ever sat in. And again, how Honda have managed to make them even better, I do not understand. They are so comfortable for longer distances, especially. Again, this is going to be a car that will be used every day. Well, I hope so anyway, and not kept in garages and stored, because these cars need to see roads. But yeah, they are lovely. Lots of support here. Maybe a little bit of a struggle getting out, and over time you may see that start to wear, but nevertheless, it's a lovely feature for when you're going through the twisty roads. It'll hold you in place. Again, very comfortable on the back area as well. These seats are not heated, unfortunately. or maybe they are within the infotainment where you access it. Now, speaking of the infotainment, that was one big gripe I had with the FK8. It was rubbish. It was horrible. Unless you used Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it was hopeless. And to say the least, it is a lot better now. Oh, camera, even the cameraman wants this car. He's nicked the key off me. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the ignition on. Oh no, we don't want to start engine. There we go. So yeah, the infotainment is a big improvement. Not only is it lovely and crisp, it's also very responsive too. Of course, you get a lot of extras. One extra I am going to go into a little bit more detail is Log R. Now, this was actually on the facelift FK8, which I never got to drive. So I never got to experience it in the previous car, but I am told it is a must for this car. And I have to say it's market leading in what it does. Not only does it data log, it also allows you to learn and improve what you do on circuit. So it actually has got like a point system, so you can see corner entry, braking, and also measures how much G-force. So if you're going into a corner at 140 mile an hour and you're braking hard, yeah, you can get high points on the G meter. Not only that, you can data log as well. So the car has different options. So you can monitor oil temperature, brake temperature, tyre temperature, everything, and it all monitors in here. Along with that, with GPS technology, you can also pick the circuit you're at. So it'll actually, if you turn up at Snetterton, for example, it will tell you exactly where you are at Snetterton, and it will monitor every single bit of lap that you do. It's very cool, very cool. And yeah, just in general, it's very nice. I would say that it should be a little bit more lower down. I think it just kind of protrudes out of your front vision a little bit, but that's a little problem to have, to be fair. It's more of an observation. Now, what I like that they've carried over from the FK8 is that they haven't scattered the cabin with buttons everywhere. All you need is right in front of you, all easy to access. Of course, you get your drive modes here as well, and for the first time you get individual mode, which I cried out for in pretty much any hot hatch, but especially the FK8, getting your own driving mode. Now you can obviously go from comfort, which the car starts in, to sport, then individual, where we can customize in here. So if you come into here, you can basically tune everything to your liking. So the engine is in +R. We can put the steering in +R. We'll keep the suspension in comfort. What I noticed a lot was it's quite bouncy when you start putting it into sport and +R mode, which, to be fair, you're going to get that because of the roads, how they are in the UK. Engine sound will turn that right up. Rev match. Now, Honda claim that they've optimized the rev matching, and from my short drive here, not that I can tell a difference, but it is bloody good. It is bloody good. So if you're not too great with the heel and toe, Honda have sorted you out. So there we go. I've got my individual mode set up. So pretty much everything turned up to the max apart from the suspension. And that's pretty much what everyone will do if they buy this car. Manual gearbox. Now, in the press paperwork, Honda claimed that they made subtle changes to the gearbox. And for me and many other petrol heads that drove the FK8, they were like, no, Honda, don't change it. Don't muck around with it, because it was brilliant. And I have to say, it feels just as good now. So good thing that they haven't played around with it too much. But yeah, honestly, I love this thing. Of course, if the cameraman comes around to the other side, you get the obligatory, you can tell that this is a big car because I struggle to reach over to the other side of the door. But as you can tell, the Type R always gets a chassis number plate to basically give you uniqueness. So this car is R01122. I don't know what that means. Is that the 11,000th car made? I don't know. But yeah, usually it sat in the center console area, I think, on the FK8, whereas now it's a little bit more out there. So your passenger, when you're scaring the life out of them, they'll be able to see it all the time. Now, speaking of where the placket is, I do love this louvered design that goes all the way across. Obviously, it isn't fully open. I think the vent isn't fully openable. No. But you can see here where the vents are. So obviously your passenger can control where they want the heat to come out. And then again here in the cabin area towards the passenger and the driver. Yeah, I do like that. It's very nice, very nice. I tell you what, I am bloody impressed with the interior. One thing I will say is that they've gone a little bit mad with the red carpeting, especially on the floor. I can imagine over time, people coming in with dirty feet, that isn't going to look very nice. But if you keep on top of it, it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, let's go into the back and see what practicality is like, because again, in the FK8, it was pretty good considering. So yeah, let's jump in and have a look. Get rid of my smart price research that I've got in my hand here and throw it in the front, and let's experience. See what I mean? I've already got the back extremely dirty. I'm sorry, Honda. Don't hate me. But yeah, I have to say there's lots of room in here. Obviously, the front seat is adjusted to me. I am a midget, of course. Like lots of people in the comments like to alliterate, which is very kind of you. Yeah, I've got lots of legroom, as you can see, miles of it. And what I found in the FK8 was that you had this massive solid bit of fake carbon. It looked very cheap, to be fair. Whereas in this seat, they've actually kept it material all the way down here, which means that if you are getting chauffeured around by the Green Giant and you have no knee room, it will make it a little bit easier. Of course, you'll still be squashed in, but there's a little bit of forgiveness in the seat for that. But yeah, it is very nice in here. Again, the backs are filled with nice Alcantara material. And of course, you can only fit 2 people in here, which is a good thing, because any car that has a third seat in the middle is not worth having, because unless you've got a tiny little midget kid, there's no point in having a third seat. So instead, they've given you 2 cup holders. How fancy is that? Of course, there's no fold through for skis or golf clubs, but to be fair, we don't care about skiers or golfers, so that's not a problem. Again, you get your lovely red seat belts like you do in the front. But yeah, the material of the rear seats are definitely a step up from the FK8. They felt very cheap in the back on the FK8. So yeah, lots of good in the back. Again, I'm a midget, so headroom is perfect for me. You may struggle with a taller person because of how the car slopes down, but it's not a problem for me, so it's all good. Now, I'm gonna go back to the front of the car, because there are changes to the front over the FK8, which was a big problem with the FK8 in terms of cooling and stuff like that. So we'll quickly cover that, and then we'll finish the video, unfortunately. I'm really enjoying this, considering that I don't really know that much about this car, because there's so much information. I think I'm doing pretty well, until you comment and say I'm not. So to the front of the car, there's lots of changes. As we mentioned earlier, obviously all the black stuff is functional, but what Honda have done with this is they've made the openings bigger. They've not taken a leaf out of BMW's book, where they've made big massive holes in the front of the car. No, they've actually made this 50% bigger than the FK8, which allows lots more cooling to the intercooler and rad, and the brakes as well, because the FK8 previously did struggle quite a bit on circuit. There's lots of reports about it, and they actually addressed it with the facelift. But again, it still wasn't actually that good. Cars still struggled on circuit, but hopefully, I've seen in America people doing dyno runs with these cars, and yeah, with pretty much bone stock cars doing loads and loads of pulls, they keep the temperature pretty much stable all the way through. So it's a very good sign. Lots of people comment about where the bonnet scoop is on this. It used to be like here on the FK8. And what that's basically doing is it's bringing air up, and it's coming out of the car, and it's basically pushing the air down. So you get a lot more front end feedback from the car. I like it. And the best thing about it is that every single hole in this car is actually functional. There's no fakery here. Pretty much a lot of the FK8 had fake grills everywhere, and it was a bit of an eyesore. It was almost like whoever was designing the FK8 just didn't want to finish it. They was like, no, we'll add something here, we'll add something there, we'll add something here, and it just got too much by the end of it. Along with the fake carbon, there is no fake carbon effect on this car, especially on the outside, which I think again let the FK8 down. It made it cheap, just to put it honestly. But yeah, honestly, I am very impressed with this car. Actually, before we go, let's look at the engine. Cameraman, where do you think it is? Is it somewhere easy? He's pointing. Ah, look, it's easy, it's there. Is it twice? No, it probably isn't. God, was you born in a barn, cameraman? Can't close the doors? God, can't get the staff these days. Can't get the staff these days. But yeah, let's have a look at the engine, although it is exactly the same as the FK8. For those that don't know, I can't find the bonnet release. Where is it? It's where I lose my fingers. Oh, you're probably all watching thinking, what a tool you are, Chris. It's so good, they don't want you to get into it. Is that Honda saying that it's so reliable that you're never going to have to even service this? We might have to cut and come back to this. What? I think I'm gonna have to put one of them SpongeBob things in, I think. Oh, is this it? Yeah, here we go. We'll edit that out. Beauty of editing. So, after knowing exactly how to open the bonnet, here we are. We're greeted with the K20 C1, the engine, again, that was found in the FK8. And I love this engine. I think it's probably the best 2-litre turbo engine on the market currently. It pulls like an absolute train when it especially gets on boost. It just pulls and pulls and pulls. But it also feels very NA-like as well, like the K20s from yesteryear, from my EP3, when I had my EP3. Yeah, it feels very NA as well. So it loves to rev out. And coupled with the gearbox, a 6-speed manual gearbox, with all its auto blipping, if you're not good at heel and toe, that is, which you can do perfectly in this car if you want to. Yeah, it's just a great recipe. And we'll probably come back to the price to finish this off and say, yes, okay, it's almost a 50 grand, well, it is a 50 grand car. Although if you can't get one on the new market, you have to go and then pay 60 grand for one. Is it worth it? Just looking at it before, like driving it properly. If you've got the money, yes, because this could be the last internally combusted, well, fully internally combusted Civic Type R that we'll get. Personally, I thought that this was going to have some sort of electrification on it, to be fair. So credit to Honda for sticking to their guns and keeping it internally combusted all the way through. But yeah, if you've got the money, it's definitely worth every penny. It's going to be the best hot hatch money can buy, that's for certain. Now, of course, you can go and buy a Golf R, you can go and buy something AMG, whatever, and you'll be getting pretty much even more car for the money in terms of performance. But for engineering, handling, all that stuff, there's nothing better than this personally. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Big thank you to Honda UK for allowing me a very short time with the car, yes, but I'm grateful nevertheless, to walk around this car. Of course, there will be hopefully a 0 to 60 video and a first drive video as well. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss it, because yeah, I've been waiting for this for months. And yeah, the fact that I've managed to get early access to this car, I'm blessed, and it's all thanks to you guys watching. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think of the new FL5. And I'm going to close this much easier than I did to open it without breaking anything, hopefully. Shall I drop it from here, cameraman? No, I won't do that. He's shaking his head for me to do it, but I'm not going to do it. So yeah, let us know what you think of the new FL5 Civic Type R. Would you spend 50 grand on a Civic? That's a good question, but I think this is the perfect spec. Racing Blue Pearl. Oh yeah, I forgot about the colours. So you get Racing Blue Pearl, Crystal Black Pearl, Sonic Grey, Rally Red, and Championship White. Yes, I did it without even looking at the paperwork. I'm a champion. And they're all £650 bar the Sonic Grey Pearl paintwork. So yeah, a lot of money for paint, but it's definitely worth it in this colour. I'm so happy that Honda gave it to me in this colour. Yes! Even though I love Championship White, tradition stands. If you're gonna get a Civic, get it in white, but if you don't like white and you're bored of it, get this colour. Definitely the best. But anyway, I'm waffling now. Big thank you everyone. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.